West Point was a place of discipline, order, and unwavering structure. Cadet Brandon Ellis had spent every waking moment training, pushing himself beyond his limits, questioning whether he truly belonged among the best. But nothing could have prepared him for what was about to happen. It started like a whisper through the ranks, an unspoken ripple of energy. Something was different about today. The usual drills were abruptly interrupted by a command to assemble in formation. Brandon glanced around. His fellow cadets exchanged confused glances, but no one dared to question an order. Then, the hum of approaching engines shattered the morning air. A convoy of black SUVs glided onto the courtyard, stopping with military precision. The doors swung open, and out stepped a team of stern-faced men in dark suits, Secret Service. A second later, a presence that commanded attention emerged, President Donald Trump. The very air seemed to tighten. Cadets snapped to full attention. Brandon's pulse quickened as the president strode forward, his sharp gaze sweeping over the formation. There was no teleprompter, no prepared speech. This wasn't a ceremony. This was something else. Then, without warning, Trump's eyes locked onto Brandon. A second passed, an eternity wrapped in a heartbeat, before the president pointed directly at him. "You," Trump's voice cut through the silence like a blade. "Step forward." Brandon's stomach clenched. Why him? He had no time to wonder. His boots felt heavier than ever as he broke formation and stepped forward. He forced himself to stand tall, to steady his breath as Trump studied him. "What's your name, son?" "Cadet Brandon Ellis, sir." Trump nodded, rolling the name over in his mind. Then came the question that sent a jolt through Brandon's chest. "You ever doubt yourself?" The truth? Every single day. He had clawed his way into West Point through sheer will, but nights were often haunted by uncertainty. Was he good enough? Did he have what it took? But this wasn't a moment for hesitation. "No, sir." Trump tilted his head, considering. Then, he smirked. "That's a good answer." A pause. "But I don't buy it." A ripple of unease ran through the cadets. Trump's voice carried weight, demanding honesty. Every leader doubts themselves at some point. Anyone who says otherwise is lying. The difference is what you do with that doubt. He let the word settle before turning to his aides. "Let's give them a test." Brandon's pulse quickened. "A test? What kind of test?" Trump turned back to him. "Hope you're ready." Brandon barely had time to process what was happening before a Secret Service agent stepped forward, scanning the group. He called out 4 more names, seemingly at random, though Brandon doubted anything here was truly random. The selected cadets stepped out, standing shoulder to shoulder with him. Trump glanced at them, then at the officers overseeing the formation. "That'll do. Follow me." The 5 cadets were led across the courtyard, past the towering buildings of West Point, toward a waiting Humvee. They climbed in, the doors sealing them inside. Silence thickened as the vehicle rumbled to life and pulled away. Outside, the academy blurred past, each turn adding to Brandon's growing unease. Finally, the Humvee came to a stop. The doors opened, and they stepped out onto a rugged training ground, a battlefield simulation. Torn-up dirt, barricades, barbed wire, scattered debris. This was no ordinary drill. A staff sergeant stood waiting. "Mr. President, it's ready." Trump smirked. "Good." Then, he turned to the cadets. "Here's the deal. Somewhere out there is a wounded soldier. Your job? Find him. Stabilize him. Bring him back." Brandon's stomach tightened. He had done similar drills before, but never under the watchful eye of the commander-in-chief. Trump wasn't finished. "One more thing." He let the words settle. "Only one of you is in charge." The air went still. Then, he pointed at Brandon. "It's you?" Brandon's breath caught. The other cadets turned to him. Why him? Any one of them could have been chosen. But there was no time to question it. Trump clapped a hand on his shoulder. "Show me what you've got, son." The weight of the mission fell on him. No turning back. "All right," Brandon said, voice steadier than he felt. We find the wounded. Bring them home. Move out. The team advanced into the training course, navigating obstacles that tested every ounce of their strength and strategy. Smoke filled the air, warping sound and sight. A tripwire nearly caught Reynolds, but Owens yanked him back just in time. A trench of freezing water forced a choice: wade through and lose time, or take the rope bridge above and risk a fall. One cadet slipped, plunging into the icy depths. Brandon and Reynolds hauled him up, not wasting a second. They pushed on, lungs burning, muscles screaming. Then, a weak voice crackled through the static. "Help! Over here!" They found the dummy, a simulated wounded soldier, pinned beneath a collapsed structure. Broken leg, unconscious, breathing shallow. "Stabilize first," Brandon ordered. Owens secured the airway. Reynolds splintered the leg. Every movement counted. Then, 1 minute left. Brandon's pulse spiked. They had to move fast. Securing the dummy onto a makeshift stretcher, they sprinted toward the extraction point. The final stretch was brutal. Flashing lights, simulated gunfire, thunderous explosions. Then, Reynolds tripped. The stretcher lurched. Owens barely caught it in time. "Lift together," Brandon shouted. They heaved the dummy back up, pushing forward with every ounce of strength left. 5 seconds. They crossed the finish line. Silence. Then, a slow clap. Brandon looked up, chest heaving. Trump stood at the edge of the course, watching, his expression unreadable. "Not bad," he finally said. "Not perfect, but not bad." Brandon wasn't sure if that was a compliment or an insult. Then, "Walk with me." Exhausted but obeying, Brandon fell into step beside Trump. The other cadets watched, their expressions unreadable. Finally, Trump spoke. "You hesitated," he said, "at the start, when I put you in charge." Brandon exhaled slowly. "Yes, sir." Trump nodded, as if he expected that answer. "Why?" Brandon struggled for the words. "Because I'm not the strongest. I'm not the fastest. Someone else could have done it better." Trump smirked. "Let me tell you something. Leadership isn't about being the best at everything. It's about stepping up when no one else will." Brandon let those words sink in. Then, Trump motioned to a table where 2 aides placed sealed envelopes. "One red, one blue. Pick one," Trump said. Brandon hesitated. "What's in them?" Trump smirked. "That's for you to find out." He reached for the red. Trump's smirk didn't change. "Open it." Brandon's fingers fumbled. Inside, "You fail the mission but save your team." His breath caught. He understood now. Leadership wasn't about being perfect. It was about owning the consequences. Trump patted his shoulder. "You made the right choice today. Not because it was easy, but because you didn't let it freeze you." Brandon stood a little taller. Because today, he had become a leader.